entire Quebec. In the age of do-it-yourself, everybody is turning to the kitchen instead of hair salons. And I understand, because some of y'all hair salons is dusty. But the type of stuff that y'all are doing is absolutely ridiculous. Now, this is only in some corners of social media, but they're using Ethiopian butter as conditioner or as a conditioning treatment. This is Ethiopian spices and clarified butter that they're combining together and using as some type of conditioning treatment for their hair. Look.
Hello, welcome back to my channel. It's Tanisha, and I hope you enjoyed the conversation. So today I want to talk about hair breakage. There's so many reasons for it, but mine is self-inflicted, and I'll tell you why. I think mine mainly come from improper detangling. Now, I'm not saying or even debating whether or not you should be dry or wet detangling. What I am saying is I was doing it improperly. So I made a lot of butter, and yeah. So I definitely left the kibbe in the fridge overnight, and it made it hard. So it took a minute to soften it up a bit, but it eventually worked out. I'm Kenyan. Of course my skin's glowing. So I'm not gonna hold you. I really went to the gym, did what I do, you know, and sat on the car, watched TikToks for like an hour or so. So it's been marinating a little bit, but I didn't get to finish, so now we're gonna finish. So I was able to put some of it up on my strands a little bit. I was able to like soften my hair, so I'm about to like put the remaining on like my ends. Yeah. Usually people leave this in for about 15 hours and apply it mostly on the scalp, but a lot of people also put it on their hair as well.
So here's the real deal. Just because something is natural and from the earth does not mean that it's good for your hair. And in this video, I'm going to explain to you that you are causing way more harm than good by using this on your scalp, because this is in no way, shape, or form made for the hair. It's to cook with, and it's probably delicious. So what is it? Because it stressed me out saying it the first time. So what is this stuff? Now, it's similar to ghee, is that how you say it? But it's literally just Ethiopian butter. It's clarified butter, and they infuse it with different herbs like ginger, onions, garlic, fenugreek, turmeric, Ethiopian basil, Ethiopian oregano, clove, cardamom, and cinnamon. And they infuse all of these. I could have left a couple out, but they infuse all of these into clarified butter, and it is meant to be eaten. They didn't balance it out and do certain ingredients or formulations that are safe enough for the human scalp or for skin, because it's supposed to go in the gut. And now it sounds delicious. I want some. And then I also just saw people using heavy whipping cream instead. Like, your scalp has sebaceous glands that produce sebum, and your scalp maintains a pH level or acid mantle around about 4.5 to 5.5. That's the norm. And your scalp is home to millions of microbes that keep the scalp balanced. I tell you about at least 21 out of over 1,000 different forms of yeast and bacteria that live on your scalp. Watch this video to learn just 21 of them. But your scalp also, of course, contains follicles that are sensitive to that are sensitive to blockages, right? So The balance is delicate, so using the wrong product is going to disrupt your skin's acid mantle. The pH level is going to block the pores and the follicles and so many other things.
Matter of fact, I go on further to say this, that it's not what you add to the scalp, it's what you remove from it. Because here's the thing, you're not growing hair from the scalp itself, it's coming through the body. Your diet, the foods you eat, all these things. So really when you're growing hair, you want to look at yourself and say, if my hair is struggling, then the question should be, what's internally struggling? And topicals and products like that are really your sidekicks. They're like the 20%, 25%, but really it's acute follicle stress can come from mechanical stress. And you want to think about not what product you can put on there, but what layers you can remove so it can actually grow appropriately. I look at the scalp as an upside down, inside out stomach. And it sounds weird to say that. So going back to the actual like scalp and stomach analogy, the stomach is the immune system, but a lot of times the things that we eat can damage our guts. So where do those pathogens go? Where do they like to be? They like to be in the scalp. Woo. They love to be in the scalp. When you have something like gluten, for example, I'm highly allergic to gluten, but I was taking it and eating it when I was younger, ramen noodles and spaghetti and all this other stuff. But when I got older, I started getting like these celiac symptoms. My face would flush, you know, all these other problems with my stomach, and I started putting two and two together. And I noticed something, that my hair started becoming worse as my stomach problems became worse. But it kind of does something like it damages the lining of your guts, and those things that are supposed to be kept, the food particles and the bacteria, the waste that was in your stomach, it starts kind of rotating and cycling through your body, and somehow it ends up in the scalp.
Oh, what is the risk of putting this on your scalp? Where number one is it's way too heavy for the human scalp and the human follicle. It wasn't made for the body, on the outside of the body. It was made to cook your food in it. You're supposed to be cooking your potatoes in it. You're supposed to be making chicken. Ain't you supposed to be making like lamb and stuff? Ain't you supposed to be making lamb and stuff? What y'all be eating? Butter is extremely thick. It traps dirt, bacteria, and sweat within your pores. And once you put it on the scalp, girl, you just rinsing it out with water, or even with a little bit of shampoo won't take it out. You know why? The people who were making the shampoo did not think that it had to be strong enough to get butter out of your hair, because that's not what normal people do. It's, of course, blocking the hair follicle, so it's going to lead to things like folliculitis, dandruff, scalp acne, and so much product buildup. The product you put on go stick to that butter like glue. I cannot believe y'all using butter. Number two, the spices are irritating. There are too many spices. You don't know the proper measurements. You don't know how much of each key constituent you're pulling out or infusing. You have no idea. You probably don't even know what a key constituent is. You'll get redness, itchiness, burning, rashes, and chemical burns. Yes, you can get chemical burns from an overabundance of the key constituents that you're pulling out in the oil, in the whipping cream, girl. These reactions fall under contact dermatitis. So after a while, these different things, you doing this on a regular basis, will lead to contact dermatitis. And the funny thing that's not funny about the human scalp and the human hair shaft, most people think that they're doing something, right? You think you're doing something so amazing, but at the end of the day, it's not like that. Like, we need a very, very specific form of pattern to do our hair to make sure that we're finishing out our skin cell turnover cycle, our regular hair growth cycle over each 10-year period of our life. We need to think about those things. I also want you to think about it, especially if you have any tenderness or broken skin, any broken spots in your scalp. This is a horrific idea. Next up is your pH disruption. Butter has no pH regulation. None. Zero. Zilch. Nada. None. And keep in mind, the spices don't help that either. it makes it even worse. So when you put that on your hair, you are completely destroying and disrupting your scalp's natural pH balance. You are not doing anything beneficial to the hair or the scalp. Putting this on the, like, I just didn't, like, what's next? What's next? Y'all gonna start taking y'all baby's diapers and spearing them all over y'all head? Like, what is next? I shouldn't have said that, because somebody probably did that already. You'll end up with dandruff, of Malassezia yeast overgrowth. Why? Because you're feeding it. All of those different herbs and stuff that you just put on your scalp, it loves them they love them just as much as you do. So you're going to completely increase the dandruff, those Malassezia yeast that gonna start eating away and doodling on your scalp, creating oleic acid that's going to create dandruff. You'll also have itching and scaling, along with seborrheic dermatitis flare-ups. If you have seborrheic dermatitis, you could use it and have the illusion that it's working, but in a couple of days, a couple of weeks, it's going to feel 10 times worse than it felt before you did it. I promise to the Lord. Next up is spoilage, aka the bacterial factor. Even clarified butter can go rancid, especially when it's infused with all of these living organisms within these herbs. When applied to warm and moist environment like the scalp, it does so many different things. Spoiled fats break into the free radicals that are living on your scalp, creating so much damage. It's like a rancid bacterial party. And then the bacteria is going to increase rapidly, especially if you put this on, rinse it off, and then put a bunch of oil in your scalp. Girl, like, you are having a bacterial party. And again, people are also using heavy whipping cream, believing that the fat is somehow gonna coat their hair and make it stronger. Like, y'all, it's rich in fat, so it'll make your hair feel soft, but it's temporary. It's temporary. It's a temporary fix. It's only like that because there's a coating on your hair. The same way that your floor feels slippery with Vaseline on it, but you wipe it off and your floor not slippery no more. Like, it's the same thing. People have found out that it contains these two key constituents, right? So they're under the impression that these two key constituents will help to rebuild damaged hair, but you have to understand that these two key constituents are only going to take place or help in the body when they're breaking down by your body's digestive system within your gut. Then it goes into your body and helps your body to rebuild stronger hair. Girl, but it doesn't do that just putting it on the hair shaft. There's no digestive system within your cortex. It doesn't work like that. Plus, it's natural, I guess, and it's natural to y'all, and it's affordable because it's cheap and you can go get some heavy whipping cream from the store. You like, oh, this is cheap conditioner. No, it's not. So the lactose in it, which is the sugar, that's gonna feed all of the free radicals, all of the yeast, the bacteria, and everything that lives on your scalp. The only thing that you are treating are the yeast and bacteria that's on your scalp. You giving them a party. You're not helping your follicle at all. It's literally like finding out a whole bunch of people just broke into your house, and then you go get everybody that broke into your house, you go get them canes and let them steal all your shit, and then just go ahead on about your business. Y'all buying the burgerless canes when, like, oh my god. Proteins can cause allergic reactions on contact. Like, sometimes it's way too much because none of these things were made to go on the body externally. These are all products that are meant to be ingested into the body. It smothers the scalp, leads to blockage and inflammation, and it has the ability to spoil. Not to mention that it's already kind of sort of spoiled in the first place. That's how it was able to curdle and cure and all of that stuff. But then, of course, the cream spoils really, really fast. But you have to understand that for something to spoil, it has to have living organisms present in it for it to spoil. So those are things that you have to remember. It's the wrong pH, and dairy is extremely too alkaline for the scalp or the skin's pH in general. Like, it doesn't make sense in any way. Applying dairy to your scalp is like applying yogurt and sugar to an open wound on your skin. Like, in theory, it sounds like it'll help, but the type of infections that you're gonna grow and create are something that a lot of doctors probably won't even know how to treat, because it's not normal. It's not a normal combination that people have. So I need y'all to understand that y'all are constantly doing all of these things. You are growing and creating new bacterial infections that some dermatologists are not able to treat, because y'all have to understand that for dermatologists to be able to prescribe a medication to you, this disease, this scalp disorder, whatever it is, it has to have so many cases that cause them to spend those thousands, sometimes millions of dollars to do the testing to get the medication. So if it's something that only a small group of women are experiencing because y'all using heavy whipping cream and Ethiopian butter instead of regular conditioner, then this isn't going to be something that is going to be curable by just one stop inside of the dermatology office. These are things that you have to think about. In closing, what do I think about it? Girl, I think it's stupid. Like, what are y'all doing? I just don't understand. Like, it's so many shampoos and conditioners. It's like, okay, you don't like American products. I remember whenever I had Cree on the channel, she told me about the one Brazilian, or the Brazilian blowout shampoo and conditioner. I've told y'all about all types of stuff y'all don't want to use, but like, Lord, not food, not heavy whipping cream, not this. This is special, and that's what I think about it. I think it's special. So if you want more details on stuff, then make sure you just check the link in my description box below, because I don't know. And I know I told y'all, ask me questions, ask me anything. I didn't necessarily have to answer this one, but I really wanted to, because I wanted to stop. Heavy whipping cream, Ethiopian butter, really?